Hello, my name is Chris and this is my YouTube channel. Today I'm showcasing a 4-day adventure ride around Cradle Mountain in Tasmania. This is how it went. So I flew into Hobart, got the free train up to Launceston and picked up the bike the next morning through Tasmanian Motorcycle Tours. And the guys there were really friendly. They had about 10 bikes available. I chose the BMW 700 and it was very well priced. The bike come with side panniers and a back box, so I could plan what I was going to take along the journey. And the first leg was from Launceston to Smithton, which is about 175 k's away. Now the first leg of the journey took me through farmland and open country roads. One thing to note is that the time of year I went was April, end of April, so the winds were getting up there and the weather started to come in pretty strong in the last couple of days. But I still managed to get the first couple of days of nice weather before the rain come in. Probably the optimal time is to go from December through to January. I stayed at Tall Timbers in Smithton for the night. Got some rest in after a long ride, recharged all my electronics and had some food and left the next morning around 5 a.m. And probably this time of morning is, you will see Tasmania at its finest, where you got the mist coming in the morning, quite cold, but still just phenomenal to experience. Now this leg was probably my favourite part of the journey. Going through open gravel roads and making my way down to Corinna. Now the roads were pretty unkept and quite gravelly and stony, but it wasn't much of a challenge and it's still amicable even as a beginner. But this sector had probably 88 kilometres worth of gravel roads, which is one thing to note if you're not really into that kind of thing. And every corner I went round, it just kept producing another view. So if you're into your drone shooting and filming, it's definitely the place for you. As I made my way into Corinna, you have to get a riverboat crossing across to the other side, which was quite a nice experience. It cost around 30 Australian dollars and the opening hours were from 8 till 5 p.m. If you go in these times, you'll be able to get across quite easily, and it takes about 5 minutes to get across. The next part of the journey was from Corinna to Strahan. I deviated slightly and went to Macquarie Heads, which I really recommend. Now, coming into Macquarie Heads takes you through a series of sort of sand tracks, and when you finally get to the peninsula, if you will, or the where you can go onto the beach, you can actually ride along the beach there. I did speak to a couple of locals before I went on there, and they said that a lot of people ride there and camp for the night. I sat down, had some lunch, enjoyed the views, got some rest, and went back to Strahan, stayed the night there and got some rest, packed up the bike and set off early. The weather started to come in now, so the last couple of days of the journey, it started to get a bit rainy and windy, which is wasn't the best, but still adds to the adventure. So I was happy with that. I made my way up through Queenstown and found myself at Iron Blow Lookout, which is an old quarry you can walk up and get some nice pictures of that. It's I think the views would be better in summer, but I still enjoyed it. So headed to Bronte Heights, was going through the mountains, coming from Queenstown to St Clair to Bronte Heights. There were so many lakes and so much forest around that you could pretty much stop every 10 minutes and get a picture. It just kept producing those phenomenal aerial views. Bridges, going through Bradshaw Bridge on the way to Bronte Heights, another experience, and a really good place to get a nice you know, shot of the lake and the mountains. Stopped off at Nelson's Falls on the way to St Clair, which is quite nice. And then I stayed the night in Bronte Heights. I stayed in some cottages, which is about $120 per night, and which is quite well priced, I thought. And in the morning, set off early again and made my way to Launceston, and this was the final leg of the journey, and that took me through the country roads again, up through the mountains, lakes, bridges, open roads, not a car around that would stop you for, or you know, I was stopping every 20 minutes and pulling out the drone and taking some pictures, getting some aerial views. That's me just plotting my drone for the next aerial shot, which I quite enjoyed. So if you're into that kind of thing, definitely the place to go for you. Tasmania as a whole, it's just a phenomenal place to have a good ride. And Cradle Mountain was spectacular, and I really enjoyed it. Lakes, open roads, and just nice peace and quiet. Not many people around. People were friendly. I was on the BMW 700, and that was the perfect bike for the job. See you on the next one. Bye for now.